Everything's okay.
Yeah. Will the Zoom host please start the webinar?
Webinar started.
Good morning and welcome to the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sightings, and Dispositions. At this time, can everybody please silence your cell phones? If you wish to testify, please come up to the Sergeant at Arms desk to fill out a testimony slip. At this time, going forward, no one is to approach the dais. I repeat, no one is to approach the dais. Chair, we are ready to begin.
Good morning. Welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Landmarks, Public Sightings, and Dispositions. I am Majority Leader Amanda Farias, and I will be today's acting chair of the subcommittee. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Council Members Brannan, Felice, Marte, and Salam. Before we begin with today's agenda, I will remind everyone that this meeting is being held in a hybrid format. For members of the public who wish to testify remotely, we ask that you first register online, and you may do so by visiting council.nyc.gov/landuse to sign up, and then sign into the Zoom and remain signed in until you have testified. For anyone here with us today in person and wishing to testify, if you have not already done so, please see one of our sergeants to fill out a speaker's card, and we will call on your name at the appropriate time. For anyone wishing to submit written testimony on the items being heard today, we ask that you please send it via email to landusetestimony, all one word, at council.nyc.gov. And please indicate the LU number and/or project name in the subject line of your email. On today's agenda, we will hold one hearing followed by several votes. The public hearing will be regarding a 547-seat primary school facility in Councilmember Dinowitz's district in the Bronx. I'd also like to recognize Councilmember Nurse that we've just been joined by. I now open a public hearing for a site selection approval request from the School Construction Authority. We will be hearing a pre-considered LU item under application number G240044-SCX regarding site selection for a new 547-seat primary school facility located in the Bronx in Councilmember Dinowitz's district. Appearing today for the SCA on this proposal is Andrea Bender. I'll remind anyone wishing to testify remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online, and you must do that now by visiting the Council's website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. Council, would you please administer the affirmation?
Panelists, would you please raise your right hand and state your name for the record?
Andrea Bender.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
Yes.
Thank you. Applicant panelists, please begin, and please just let us know when you are ready to share your presentation that we already have up, and our staff will display it on the screen. You can begin your presentation.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader Farias. I apologize for being late this morning. We thought we were at 11 o'clock across the street. Here we are now. Thank you so much to the members of the committee. Good morning. My name is Andrea Bender. I am the Vice President of External Affairs at the School Construction Authority. We are so pleased to be here to present the proposed site for a new approximately 547-seat primary school at 6389-6393 Broadway in the Riverdale neighborhood of the Bronx. Pursuant to Section 1731 of the New York State Public Authorities Law, the New York City School Construction Authority has undertaken the site selection process for a new approximately 547-seat primary school facility located at 6389-6393 Broadway, Block 5841, lots 1968, 1978, and 1988 in the borough of the Bronx. The site is approximately 32,675 square feet, about 3/4 of an acre. The site is located within the Bronx Community Board Number 8 and Community Education Council District Number 10. The purpose of the proposed site plan is for a new primary school to provide additional permanent primary school capacity identified in the DOE's 5-year capital plan for fiscal years 2020 to 2024. The notice of filing of the site plan was published in AM New York and the City Record on October 3rd, 2023, at which time Community Education Council Number 10, Bronx Community Board Number 8, and the City Planning Commission were notified of the proposed site plan. The Community Education Council held a public hearing on November 28th, 2023. Community Board 8 held a public hearing on October 24th, 2023. All public comments received on the site were considered as part of the site selection process. The SCA affirms the site plan pursuant to Section 1731 of the New York Public Authorities Law. In accordance with Section 1732 of the Public Authorities Law, the SCA submitted the proposed site plan to the mayor and city council by letter dated March 4th, 2024. Should SCA receive approval to acquire the property, a new primary school will be constructed and anticipated to open in 2028. The school will include 23 classrooms for grades pre-kindergarten to 5, 2 special education rooms, 10 District 75 classrooms, 2 resource rooms, music room, art room, kitchen cafeteria, library, gymatorium, guidance and medical suites, as well as general administration and support spaces. It also includes the creation of an approximately 11,800 square foot at-grade play area on the project site. We look forward to the subcommittee's favorable consideration of the proposed site plan and would be pleased to answer questions from the committee. I'd also like to quickly thank, although he's not here, Councilmember Dinowitz for his strong advocacy on behalf of the project and his support. We appreciate that very much. I'd also like to ask if my colleague Kelly Murphy could be sworn in to take us through the presentation.
Sure. Would you like to place your right hand and state your name for the record?
Kelly Murphy.
And do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but your truth in the testimony before this subcommittee and in answer to all council member questions?
I do.
Thank you.
My apologies for being tardy. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. So let me just quickly go through the presentation. So this is a kind of zoomed out version of the site. You see the bullseye, it's the actual site, and gives you the context where the proposed site plan is in Northern Bronx. Next slide, please. This is just for the record to show you the tax block and lots that are affiliated with the site that I believe Andrea already kind of read into the record. Next slide. This is more of a zoomed in on the site. You can see the existing 2 buildings and accessory parking lot that were a former hotel that is now vacant. And you can see it across the street from Van Cortlandt Park, and on the left side is a nearby residential neighborhood. Next slide. You could skip this one. We've already done that into the record. So these are just some close-up photos of the site. You can see the 2 buildings that are the former hotel that will be demolished to facilitate the construction of the school. Next slide. And then this is some more of the surrounding area. This is the one of the buildings where the check-in is, and then that's Van Cortlandt Park on the right, literally across the street. Next slide. And then this is just some of the surrounding areas, Post Road in the neighborhood nearby, kind of low density residential, but very close proximity to the proposed school site. Next slide. You read that already, right? So that's all the amenities of the. I think so, the classrooms and the size of the play yard and all those kind of things. So that was it. So I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
Great. I have a quick question. Can you tell us about the utilization rates at comparable facilities in the immediate surroundings of the proposed school location?
Sure. There's about 2 schools within a mile of the proposed site plan site. XPS24, which has a 100% utilization rate, and X81, which has a 122% utilization rate. And the overall utilization rate of the district is over 100% as well.
Great. Thank you for that. I'd now like to recognize any of my colleagues if they have any questions. Seeing none, thank you. The applicant panel is now excused.
Thank you.
Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify on this item?
We have no members of the public signed up to speak. If there's anybody in person who is interested in speaking, please sign a card in the back. And for any of the remote public participants who wish to testify and have not already done so, please press the raise hand button now. You can also send any comments, written comments, to the email provided beforehand, landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Is anybody here interested in testifying?
Great.
No.
Great, thank you. There being no members of the public who wish to testify regarding the pre-considered LU item under application number G240044SCX for the primary school in the Bronx, the public hearing is now closed. We will now have votes. The first vote will be to approve Timbell Terrace LU numbers 13 and 14. This project is located in Councilmember Salam's district in Manhattan and seeks to facilitate the development of a 19-story building, including affordable residential as well as ground floor community facility theater and community programs, outdoor space, and parking. The first proposed action involves designation of an urban development action area and approval of an urban development action area project and the disposition of the development site. The second proposed action involves acquisition of a portion of the development site by the city in the ground floor and second floor of the proposed development to provide space for an NYPD replacement parking facility. We will vote to approve the designation of the following sites by the Landmark Preservation Commission: LU number 21, Joseph Rodman Drake Park and Enslaved People's Burial Ground in Councilmember Salamanca's district in the Bronx; LU number 22, Barkin, Levin and Company Office Pavilion in CM Wan's district in Queens; LU number 23, Modulator Building in CM Powers' district in Manhattan. We will also vote to approve a pre-considered LU item under application number G240044SCX, a site plan submission by the School Construction Authority for a new 547-seat primary school facility in the Bronx in Councilmember Dinowitz's district. I'd now like to read a statement provided by Councilmember Dinowitz on his application. Application LU2, which proposes the construction of a 547-seat primary school facility in the old Van Cortlandt Motel located at 6389-6393 Broadway in the Bronx, is an application I support and encourage the committee to vote in favor of this proposal. It is also supported by the local community board. The construction of a school at this site would alleviate overcrowding in the neighborhood and replace a cheap hotel that brings no benefits to the community with a school that can bring educational opportunities to our children. As the process continues, it is essential for the School Construction Authority to collaborate closely with myself and members of the community to ensure that the design aligns with the needs and preferences of our constituents. Features such as school gardens and STEM labs must be considered as part of the design plan, not an add on a later date, to enhance the overall educational experience of our students. I encourage committee members to vote yes. And just to re-clarify, that was a statement provided to me by Councilmember Dinowitz. If members of the subcommittee who have questions or remarks about today's items, please let me know at this moment. Seeing none, I now call for a vote to approve LU 13 and 14 and 21, 22, 23, and a pre-considered LU item under application number G240044SCX. Council, please call the roll.
Councilmember Nurse?
I vote aye.
Councilmember Felix?
Aye.
Councilmember Marte?
Aye.
Councilmember Brannan?
Aye.
Councilmember Salam?
I vote aye.
Councilmember Farias?
I vote aye.
And
And with a vote of 6 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and 0 abstentions, these items pass. We don't need to leave. Okay. That concludes today's business. I'd like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee, council, land use staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for your participation today. This meeting is hereby adjourned.